We're gonna try this again and pray harmony that it doesn't crash like it does a million times usually. But yeah, I've turned off my music also because I noticed it was coming through my microphone a bit. Hope you enjoyed Chess the Musical. But I was saying there's your node library and you can open it up, and I'm going to get a transparency node. And so I can drag it into my node view. Anything from this node library I can search up, I can drag it into my node view, and I'm going to, much like I would with a sketch in a drawing I was working on, I'm going to make this a little transparent so that this is about 50-50. If you ever want to change it, you can click the yellow box on it. And it opened up over the screen. It's not showing here, but it'll come up with like a little window with your transparency percentage, and you can drag it up and down to adjust how transparent you really want it. I'm going to keep saving. I'm going to import a color version if I have of Kirby. Let me see if that saved. It didn't. Okay. I can bring that in later for the palette, actually. Or I can just make my own palette. He's pink. Go into my colors here. Again, if you've used Harmony for like hand-drawn stuff, you've probably seen this before or done this. And you can select a color. It'll give you these default like neon weird colors sometimes, and you can just get rid of a lot of them by hitting the minus. I'm going to keep my black, my white, turn my red into pink. Green I will keep for using for invisible cutters if I have to. I may do that for some eyebrows or expressions. I might get into those later. We'll see. He has like blue eyes, Kirby, right? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful eyes. I love him. His little beautiful eyes. Let's give him very pretty eyes. Let's give him like, it's like sea foam eyes. Those can be changed later. And I'm going to give him a kind of a darker pink for some blush. I have to do some others for like mouth. And the nice thing about colors in Harmony is that when you do them, if you then apply them to your rig and you feel like they don't work, you can change them after. You can adjust them and they will adjust on your rig as well. Inner mouth, I can do like a darker red, pinky, darker pinky kind of color. Yeah, and then I can kind of have already set a sort of palette here. Not liking me. Yeah. So one of the first things I like to do actually when building a rig, so in your node view, you're gonna make a composite. And I'm not gonna like in this get into, because this isn't like a formal, this is like just for some friends. I'm wanting to do this. I won't go like in explaining every single thing. I'm just gonna make some composites here. And I like to think of these as like, they're like a base, a place setter also. It's where all your drawing layers can go into, and you can also section them off though. So like I have my main composite here for Kirby, and it should usually, not always, but usually be set to pass through. So when you click that little yellow box, there's like a mode menu, and you can drop down and like select pass through. It'll usually come up as bitmap unless you change it or have it set to do otherwise. I have a setting in my preferences to just make it as pass through automatically for now. If I need it as bitmap, I can change that. Pass through just means it'll like make it the Z depth work for like if you're moving things backwards and forwards in space, I believe. Sometimes that can interfere with some stuff, so you can just turn it to a bitmap later. But yeah, my Kirby composite, you can hit Control H for that. And I'm going to first actually hit Control R and give myself a drawing node. When you hit your drawing, Control R, it'll like give you a little menu. You can name your layer before it creates it. It'll give you like option to have a bitmap or vector. Choose vector. Rigs should be on vectors. Like that's kind of the point almost of making them. It's so I'm gonna make this a sketch layer just to break things down in this rig. So I want to look at Kirby and say, okay, well, what am I going to break it down? So rig is, as I said, a puppet, and it's going to be a bunch of little different parts. And where are we going to separate those parts we want to look at? So I've given it a peg. I've given it Control P is peg. I can't remember if I said that before. And I mean, obviously Kirby's going to have this body that's just circle, like, right? He's just going to be a good round boy. His hands, he doesn't have fingers or anything. He's just got these little arms. So it's going to be like, I can clone this. So I can make one of this and then just like clone that. Should it be auto patched is the question. Figure that one out. Eyes. So this shine will be cut in. This black part will also be cut in. I'll show you some cutters. You can just duplicate the eye. It shall be cut into the face. Blush, same thing, just little patches. Very simple rig. And Kirby, so he has an open mouth in this. I'll build him with an open mouth. I could do a open, yeah, I can cut the tongue into the mouth shape, I guess. And the feet just go underneath, and they're pretty simple. Should I do a pelvis for him is the question. Does Kirby have a pelvis? Does Kirby have pelvis? Huh. The anatomy of a Kirby. I feel like Brian David Gilbert here in my Unraveled video. The pelvis can be good for like bending. I don't know. You know what? We're gonna slap a deformer on this boy. And we're just gonna call it a day. This is a simple video. I'm not gonna go crazy. Also, some things I say maybe aren't industry standard. Maybe are just like things I'm doing. I'm doing this for fun. Again, like it's whatever. I'm gonna copy and paste this transparency and just slap it on this sketch. But yeah, so I have Kirby. I'm gonna hit Control H on this new composite up here, and I'm gonna start splitting stuff up. So I'm gonna have Kirby body. And usually you would do like a head, an eye comp, like an ear. You do like you can have comps for like everything. Every part that will have like multiple details fed into it. Kirby doesn't have a head separate from his body, so I'm just going to do Kirby body. Kirby arm. So it's important actually to label your... so let's go... just to label like which side arm is on what. I'm going to make this an arm comp for both of them, and then I can just build one off it later for the two of them. And then Kirby legs. Why Kirby leg? A good question. Why Kirby leg? They're not really legs, like they kind of are. I don't know. So this is gonna be the basic stuff. And then if I want to get complicated, maybe like a part 2, I can go into like some eyebrow cutters for like kind of being invisible, and I can just where you can like pull them down when you need them. I could maybe make like a synced mouth or something. I could make like cutter for the bottom of his foot coming up. If you want to show the bottom of his foot, you can have like a sole to the foot in a darker color, stuff like that. I'll have to pull up some references for that. Right now, I'm just building the main body, maybe adding deformers to it, the basics. Saving again, so we don't crash, because Harmony is notorious. Off this body comp, I think I'm gonna build a face comp, just because, like, there's lots of things going on in the face, but like it's still on the body, so I'm just gonna do that, because I feel like it. That's ultimately why I'm doing this, because I feel like that. So, Kirby body, I'm gonna start with Kirby torso. Kirby round torso. And some people don't set their pegs first. I always like to have my pegs like just added in the node view. But yeah, as you can see, like we're already getting this tree of like veiny things starting to stick out everywhere. Which way, every which way, whatever. Can't speak. Brain empty. And I'm gonna just, instead of making my life hard, I'm just gonna use the ellipse tool. What size is my line width? 10? Does that match up? Let's go down to a 7. And one of the things here is also when you are moving stuff. Oh yeah, so see actually here. So your peg, where your peg is, it'll always set your peg to the middle of the canvas automatically. And see what happens when I try and move this? It's trying to move it based on where the peg is placed. So I want this peg on like in the middle of this circle to make it as easy as possible to move and to deform later. So I am going to click this little arrow going all 4 ways, and I am going to click on my peg, and I'm going to go over top of this blue thing, and when the P appears next to the cursor, I'm going to drag it and I can move it in the middle. Why should you wait for the P to appear over your cursor? Because if you don't, it moves the whole object with it, and is moving it all on the axes. And to set that, you just hit your transform tool. You should always animate with your transform tool also on a rig. If you do not, it will actually be affecting the drawing instead. And if you're affecting the drawing, that could affect it on other layers and other keyframes. Yeah, so I have my line art here, and I am using vectors. So if I go to my white cursor is what shows the vectors. I see L and I hit K, L disappears them, hit K, and then I can see the line, and then I can just go over it and it'll appear all my little vector points that can be moved and adjusted and played with later. I don't have to do much playing with actually on Kirby. I'll add some color after. So Kirby torso is done there. And he has small line art around the blush on his cheeks. So I will do that on Kirby face. He is just so cute. So small. Oh, little boy. Blush. Let's go. let's add some little blush now on him. I will use, again, a black line. I might go smaller because it looks like it's a smaller line art. I think I'm going to get rid of this sketch layer because I kind of know now what I'm going to do. Actually, if you click on any drawing in your node view, you can hit D and it'll disable it. Just turn off the layer. If you want to turn it back on, you can hit A. So yeah, that's pretty elliptical. Okay. Oh, forgot to adjust it, but that is okay because I believe what I can do here is can I not? No, I can't. Okay. Sometimes you can adjust that might just be with pencil tool. You can adjust the size. I'm going to bring this down to about a 4 though. This blush L for left. So this is blush LP, and then I'm going to make a blush R. Because you want to separate a lot of your drawings as much as possible, just for the sake of animators later, so it's easy for them and yourself to move things. Otherwise, if you were trying to move this blush, it's moving both of the drawings. Like every drawing you have on this node is going to be moved with it. I kind of know it's going to be like right in there. If you're ever like when you select something with the transform tool and it's blue or purple, that means you selected the drawing and you want to move up to the peg. Very important short key or hotkey is hit B. It'll turn yellow. That means you're on the peg. When you parent up with B, you are going up. It's basically bringing you up on the connecting like network of pegs and going like jumping up and up to the next one in the hierarchy. Because later we're going to connect all of these pegs together, so you can eventually like just keep hitting B and be able to select the whole rig. I can actually connect these two because they are related, so they will join together after. So see, I can hit B, B, and then if I hit B again later on, it'll pick up on maybe like the mouth or the eyes. So let's go Kirby. So this is eye. We're gonna make an eye base on the right. And the place you are putting your nodes. So it reads left to right. So if you're putting your node on the furthest place left, it will appear in the layer hierarchy above that. So your composites will like add an extra kind of level to that. So all of the stuff on the Kirby face and body is going to be ahead. So I might make a Kirby face separate then actually. So I just thought about that. That's the beauty of it. Everything can be changed after very easily. You can just disconnect some little wires and rehook them. So Kirby body will be separate. Kirby face is going to be in front because that's always going to be on top of the face. If you want it to go behind for whatever reason ever, you can always adjust inset depth or disable them on a key later. So the eye base. we are going to do here is going to be this whole black part. And my ellipse isn't perfect, so isn't perfectly fitting the shape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually, I can hit delete, I can erase some of these points. If you've ever used Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator, it's very similar to the way you would draw in there. I'm going to erase some of these points, and it's going to start shaping it differently. When you click on a point, it'll give you these handles you can pull out to like adjust the roundness. Adjust the angle of everything. And just want to make sure it's not looking too crooked. Yeah. Okay. So these are going to be filled in after. First, I think I'm going to make a highlight layer for the white. Highlight R, I highlight R. And then I'm going to make I color R. The highlight I will put above color. So I'm going to cut these in after. I'm going to use something called a cutter. Have some lunch soon. Might take a break. Come back to it in a bit. Yeah, so I can do the same here with a white. And you may notice like I'm not coloring anything yet because your colors should go on a proper color layer. And I will get into that after because Toon Boom only has 4 layers. It's okay for this to go outside of it. It'll be able to be. So Toon Boom only has 4 layers. It has an overlay, a layer. Oh, sorry, an overlay, a line art, a color art, and an underlay layer. And those are all have very specific uses. I mean, line art and color art are very self-explanatory. Overlay and underlay can be used for certain like ways of cutting things, certain compositing. Like Toon Boom was created originally as a compositing software, so that's why it has some of these strangeness factors. So if I'm going to add color art to this, I want to go into my color art layer, and I can just take my fill bucket, and if I try and select this, nothing's happening because I need to transfer my art down. So there's this little button here that is transfer your line art to your color art layer, and it'll bring down the line, like that center line from your line art, and then you'll be able to fill it in. And I'm going to do the same then for the color, but just in, I'm going to use an invisible stroke for this. So if you go click on your fill bucket, it'll give you instead an option for a drop-down menu. It's not appearing on OBS still again. My display like wasn't working. I had to set it to window settings to record, but so it'll give you an invisible line. So it'll essentially create a drawing line for you that will not appear later on. It'll just create the outline shape. And so sometimes it may say like it won't appear. You have to just hit K and then you'll be able to see your vector lines. So I'm going to draw like this, and then I can just go into my tool properties actually. These two, I like to have these two always selected. because what it will do, if these are not connecting, there will be a yellow box showing that. I can drag this then, and it'll now snap to my line with these new settings I've just put on in tool properties. You just want to make sure you have all your gaps closed. Sometimes having too many vector points will create a very laggy program or a bigger file size. So it's best to shape things with kind of like a minimal sense, and then after you can go back and add more in on the line by just holding down Control or Command, I think it is, on your Mac, and adding those in later. I'm going to do the same thing here again now for the color, which is this. And then I'm going to do that for my eye base now, the black. And so I have this kind of messy looking eye. Things are rough looking for Kirby. He's not looking like a very perfect boy. I mean, he's round in every way and perfect, but like we could do some work here. So I'm gonna go into my node library. I'm gonna look up cutter. I'm gonna bring this in. And cutters work the same as masks in Photoshop if you know how those go. If you don't, I'm sorry. I also don't know very well. I was never a Photoshop person. I do like to play around with them sometimes because sometimes they're just a little finicky. So I'm going to say my eye is what we're cutting here. My eye base is what we're going to be cutting. Let's just say like, hey, highlight. What if you see, look, it's cutting out of there. But what if, oh look, it's going to do that. So it's cutting like into that. So if I were to move this cutter here, this is like, yeah, this is how cutters be. Cutters be like this. I can hold down Alt and it'll like automatically snap in. Well, apparently it doesn't want to do that, so. It doesn't want to let go. It has trouble with letting go. So let's see if we do this. Oh look, there we go. So I am cutting my highlight, my eye highlight, and my eye base. And I have just, so sometimes it depends on the kind of cut you want. I left mine all connected here. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so I left mine all connected. Sometimes if you just like see if I take the eye base off the composite, it'll still be cutting, but it won't show the black anymore. And I want that black to still be displayed, so I'm going to just continue keeping that plugged in a bit so that art still appears. The composite is like where your drawing will register into. And so I'm going to do this again now with the eye color. I'm going to put a cutter on here. And I'm going to drag another point over here. I'm going to invert that. And now I'm able to see everything only within this eye. And I can now play around with this. I can go into my color art here and just like adjust my angles a little bit. This eye here, I can even, there we go, start making this a bit bigger. Now I can see a bit better. I can actually, I think, select this and it'll allow me to adjust like all layers. whatever, it can be adjusted later. I'm just like playing around with it. You can also, because Kirby sometimes has a gradient in his eye, you can also like adjust that and make it a gradient. There is a node actually for that. It's like there's an app for that, like there's a node for everything. There's a snow node, like just to put snow into scenes. But yeah. Oh, I haven't set my pegs at all. That's like the most common thing I do. I'm always like, oh, let me just adjust this. Oh, no, never mind. Remembering to set your pegs, very important. I'm being very careless in where I move mine. You should always click this. I didn't set it properly there. And always make sure it is yellow before you set your peg, or else you're just setting it on the drawing like it's not. It's not going to do what you want it to do later. I'm going to group these all together and peg these, or not group them, I'm going to peg these all together. Grouping is a different thing. I will try and keep language. So I, R, peg. Look at that. We got like a little technical looking tree here. Yeah, so I could do this again with this eye. I could also just copy and paste it, like it's just playing around here. But yeah, there's a lot that could be done here. I could recreate this, I could just copy and paste. I might just copy and paste because I'm lazy. I'm going to unlock this so I can... You can also skew stuff if you just click on the line instead of the points, transformation points. Oh yeah. Let us clone this eye. I might group it. So you can do something called grouping. You can hit Control G, and it'll put it all into this little group in here. So everything's kind of less crazy looking. The only thing is you have to make sure you have set everything you want to when you do that. Because adjusting the nodes, order of nodes after is a pain. So I won't group it yet. Let me see if I can clone this though. Clone selected nodes, drawings only, because if you select timing, it will then copy, it'll, like if you try and edit the other one after, it's going to think that you are kind of affecting the other one, I believe. I had something like that happen to me recently where I was trying to get rid of a leg or disappear a leg, and it kept disappearing the other leg as well that I had cloned from, which was not fun. I might add more pegs to this later just to make it a bit more detailed in the selection of parenting up. But that can always be adjusted later, the hierarchy. I'm going to connect these two eyes. My eye base. I'm going to connect that to my there we go. My eye color. Why is that not registering now? I wonder. Interesting. Well, it's there. This is the wonders of Toon Boom, where it doesn't always do what you want it to, and you just don't know why. Huh. I'm gonna disconnect that cutter though. Oh, you know what? It's because it's got this other line. It's going behind that, see? It's going behind the eye base, and there's our layers at work. There are layers at work. Or the ordering of our nodes. There we go. See, look, whoa, yeah. Sorry, I'm having too much fun with the cutters on this. I've spent a good chunk of this just talking about Kirby's beautiful, beautiful eyes. Look at him, a little boy. I can adjust all these layers also to say L for left. And just go into each of them and change that R to an L so confusion doesn't happen later if somebody has to come in and edit your rig. Or if somebody's animating and they have to come in and like try and troubleshoot some stuff or problem solve. There you go. So we have now some blush. I'm gonna color this in. I'm not gonna color in Kirby's full body yet because it's gonna be a bit hard to see the mouth then. And there is a light box option, but sometimes it's kind of wonky for me. I might adjust the color of that blush later. But we have a little boy coming together. And I say the face is the part that takes the longest. Like it is a lot of moving parts on the face. You want to make sure you can do, like look at all these nodes already on Kirby face. I'm gonna do a separate comp on this for the mouth, actually, because the mouth can get kind of crazy. Depending. Mouth can get... I'm not going to do a sync mouth right now. I might do one later. Play around with it. So, what I'm going to need for this, I think, is just a tongue for now, and a mouth shape. I might do a separate video if people are interested on some other stuff. If I can just play around with some matte comps and things for the mouth. Because with a matte comp, if I do like a more detailed mouth, I would be able to then grab kind of the shape of the mouth, or the upper mouth, and move it up and down so it could like open and close. That takes a little more because I'm going to do an inner mouth drawing as well. I have to use some interesting cutting with that. So I'm going to keep it simple here and just try it with this. And the one beautiful thing that you can do in Toon Boom with rigs is something called instance swapping, where it creates like multiple drawings on the one node, and so like mouth shapes can be swapped in and out, and then just like in between through. That color. So mouth shape, I'm gonna do in black. I'm gonna hold down shift and just make some straight lines and then deform them. Make like a triangle here. Add a peg. If you want to add a peg to a bunch of things, actually, you can drag and select them all, and then Control Shift P gives each individual one a peg. If you just want to group them together with a peg, you can just select all your stuff and then Control P. So let's do some editing here. Hello. Oh, I haven't even selected my node. There we go. Catch me outside going crazy. Oh, need to reactivate my snapping. Huh. Why doesn't it want to snap? We just don't know. We do not know this. In the immortal words of Kate McKinnon. This we do not know. Oh, you know what? I drew on the color layer. No matter what program you're on, drawing on the same layer, it's always bad. I need to draw this on my line art layer. Haha. Why won't it work? Oh, because it's on the wrong layer, idiot. Oop. Like, yeah, there's people who are more skilled at this than I am, but also I'm sexy and you're not seeing my face, but I just know I am sexy. And I'm funny, haha, funny, and I will encourage you to do things that maybe you shouldn't do, so that's always fun and rebellious and cool. I'm gonna just give him a perfect mouth. Just because he's just so good. Kirby make me happy. Oh, there's some funky line art differences. So if you want to, you can go into your pencil editor if this happens, and that's for actually playing around with the line size, line width. So I can bring this up actually and just, I can circle this and select both and just bring it up to like the 4-point size I'm using for everything. Sometimes it'll add in these little places where there's differentiations in the line width. I like to just get rid of those because I'm me. Sometimes my profs are like, Keelan, your line art is bad. And I'm like, yes, that's because I don't listen sometimes and I forget to do this. That's a fun little feature from my XP pen where it just decides if I hit a certain button that it's switching to eraser. Sicko mode or eraser mode. That's fun and funky how it's like still a little uneven despite it all being the same point size. Ignore me while I just like suffer here. for a little bit. Listen to the pain in my voice. Listen closely. Okay, well, there we go. We're going to do some cutters the same way we did on the eyes, of course, for this, but I'm going to do my tongue, which I am, once again, just going to do, and a lips. Lips. I'll bring this back to my contour editor. I can edit a contour, but I sure can't draw one on in makeup. I can just move around his little tongue. I'm gonna make it a little big so I can, I'm gonna make it bigger. Just because if you're cutting it, you might as well. Because it gives you some more flexibility later on. Yeah, like I have a friend who loves Kirby, and maybe she'll watch this. Hi, Anna, if you're watching. I love you. Maybe you like this Kirby rig. Maybe you're gonna yell at me and say this isn't a perfect little Kirby. Who knows? We just don't know. Ooh, that was a I don't care throw. All right, so let's go. Coloring in, inner mouth. Let's go to our color art. You know the drill now. Transfer line art to color. Tongue. Let's go. Transfer that shit. And mouth doesn't need a color because we got that. And so we are going to now go back to our node library. I have my cutters here. I probably won't need 3. I don't know why I pulled 3 out, but you know what? Be prepared. I was a Girl Guide. That was our motto. So let's go get that little. Let's get that tongue. Get that a little cutter there. I'm scared that what I just did will need a matte comp, and I'm gonna have to like remember how to do that and make you all terrified. I will. I'm sorry, fellas. I'm sorry to have to like let you down like this, but sorry. Can I disable that? What if I? Can you tell? Like I'm scared for my life. Like I'm running for my goddamn life. At the thought of having to like even do a matte comp right now. We're gonna get into a complex mouth later. I'm gonna make this just like a little simple funky mouth. Fun times. Haha. Oh, okay. It's cutting the line art. That's where I can get some. Might get creative here. my node library. So there's something called a line art and color art node. Like there is a node for all your different types of layers. And that is, they can be used in these cases. There we go. Yeah. So this is, it kind of fixed it. I actually got rid of the color on the tongue. So, there. And so there we go. So the basically means what these do is it brings out the line, it separates the line art and color art into their own like drawings almost, so that you can move them around a bit better when you're cutting things. So when I was cutting into this, like yeah, he was putting the tongue in the mouth, but it was getting rid of, by doing that, because it's still like something covering the mouth, it's getting rid of that bottom line for your mouth. So all I did was I took this line art node, which would bring out, like you would just take the whole line art from my mouth drawing, and I put that so it would appear before or on top of the tongue. And then it was also getting rid of, though, because it only selects your line art then, is getting rid of the color art from the mouth. So then I bring in a color art node and I just put that node behind the tongue. If that makes any sense to you whatsoever. I've had to do like a bunch of different types of mouths. I've been working on a lot of dog rigs, so I got a little confused there. Sorry on how to do the mouth, because there's some funky things with snouts. But yeah, we have a little beautiful Kirby face here. I can now fill in my Kirby body. My Kirby torso, as I called him. Oh, look at that. We have a little Kirbo. I'm going to... Oh, that eye is driving me crazy. This little color thing is like a little off from the other one. Oh well, I can fix that later. But yeah, so we have a Kirby body. We will now have to get into some Kirby arms. Kirby arm. It's just going to be a little round friend shape. So this is going to be Kirby arm R, Kirby arm L. R before the L because it looks like in the rotation he's turning that way. Okay, we're gonna give these each their pegs. And we are going to... Oh, that kills me. When they're not like straight. They can snap to being straight, and that's what I love about this. I'll check all my pegs later, make sure they're done properly. So yeah, we are going to start out here with, I used I think a 7 for the original body art. So I'm going to do that too for the arms. So I'm going to see if I can auto patch this after. Auto patching can be very useful. It can also, it can be your angle or your double, depending on what you're using it for. So can really be useful in certain things. I know certain things with like hands, it can affect a lot of stylization sometimes, because it basically like patches a shape into your color art, so it like overrides your line art a little bit. So if I were to transfer this down and see, because like this arm isn't really connected here, I'm gonna see if I can do an auto patch. If not, I can just do some fancy footwork. So I'm gonna get an auto patch node. And I'm going to connect it into Kirby arm. Let's see, let's bring it to Kirby body. There we go. So you bring it in front. So I'm basically auto patching here. It's going in front of it on the composite. It's going over top of it, the color art, and connecting it all. And then I can freely move his arm around wherever I want. See, and it'll like patch into the body. So I can, because like Kirby does a lot of arm movements that go like this, so. Oh, I see. Yeah. We went outside. Went off the reserve. From some movie. I think that's from some movie. It's like Madagascar or some shit. But yeah. Little Kirby arms. Perfect for a sweet angel. I'm gonna just adjust that line there. Pull it in a bit. And yeah, and then you can do the exact same thing with I'm gonna just clone this actually. So I'm gonna go into my nodes. So I realized it didn't show again. So last time when I cloned the eye, there's these little like 3 bars up here. Click on there. It's like a little drop down for your node view and like file, edit. You go into nodes and there's a thing that's clone selected nodes, and it has 2 options, drawings and timing or drawings only. You want drawings only. And so there we go. I have achieved this. Oh god, my nodes. But yeah. I'm gonna line these all up. Make sure it's nice and neat, easy to find stuff. I'm gonna move this over then. And then I can just flip this. I can go into here and click this and just flip the drawing. I think pressing 4 sometimes also works. I changed my keyboard settings a little bit ago and haven't gotten it to work again. But look, we're almost there. We just need to do some little Kirby feet now. Yeah, so he has a very simple red shoes. I think I forgot to do his shoes, actually. I'm going to make him a color for those now. like very pretty. They're not like an eye-hurting red, but they're red. What is Kirby? I don't want to ask that because I know, like, I've seen the Unraveled where, like, Brian David Gilbert has a breakdown over it and didn't make another Unraveled then for, like, 6 months. Um, of course, like, I'd be a lot more consistent in naming some of these things if I were making this rig professionally, but this is just a little funky. This is like a little funky fun thing I've been wanting to do because Kirby's just so easy. Perfect for all your squash and stretch needs. Those eyes are going to be, oh, I'm going to fix those eyes. I'm going to make them so even. But yeah. Black line. I'm just going to do a rough. That's the beauty of Toon Boom. Vectors. I mean, vectors in general. Like, you can just go in and edit all your rough lines. It doesn't matter if you can't draw smoothly in it. You will be smooth. Like it's gonna make sure you're smooth. Smooth boys. Look at him. Oh, his little feet. But yeah, any of the more like other stuff we're gonna get into later after everything. I may wait actually even to put this video out before I get into some more complex stuff. Just so I can do it all in one go. The way I did this for the right foot when it was supposed to be for the left. Iconic. You set my peg. Sorry, just had like a little. That was fun. Oh no, that's on the right. Okay, I'm going crazy. Well, there we go. I mean, I went crazy a long time ago. Like I'm. If you've ever spoken to me, like. Have you spoken to my psychologist, my therapist? Like. Feet are looking a little sharp there and pointy on the ends. Might edit that. Oh, see, it's editing them both. That shouldn't be happening. Huh. I'm gonna delete that. That's funky. You can also use your arrow keys just to like move things up little by little. If your mouse is like snapping or whatever to like different points. And then we have foot R. So the mystery of foot R and why this is doing this. Clone drawings only. Yeah, that shouldn't be happening. That's an interesting little thing there. But regardless of that, we have a Kirby. If I really want to, I could just copy said drawing, make a new regular drawing layer that's not cloned, because sometimes when you clone it, it'll connect it to the other one, which is what can cause some problems. We have a little boy now. And then it would just be a matter of getting some envelope deformers on here. And when I have envelope deformers, then I can start rotating him. Building different kind of keys, grouping stuff together, things like that. No idea who that is. And that's the beauty of not picking up. So yeah, I'm just gonna copy and paste this because there's going to be some funky stuff, I think, if I don't. There we go. That's what I want to see. All right, and there is a rigging of Kirby. Thank you for watching. Sorry for any of the little weird things or confusions. Brain is still dead, but all I would do now is I'd start adding deformers on. I can get into that after, and I would then begin connecting more of my hierarchy and my pegs. And then I could group it all together and start rotating.